You know what I'm saying? You gotta huck two on that thing.
Spit on that thing. Bears fans, YouTube, welcome back to another episode of Bears Fan Talk. Johnny CMD here as always with the main event, Kevin Haggerty.
Let's go. Want
to start by saying, thank you for all of us who watched our video that we posted, their vlog last week where we did the Red Line doubleheader. One of our more popular videos. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out.
One of the better times, Johnny. I had a great time.
It was a great time.
I talked to some people about it, and they're like, "Wow, that's really fucking cool. I didn't know they did that." And I was
I feel like I've had to kind of re-explain to a couple of people with it who didn't realize, even at the game, we're like, "Oh, you're doing this all on the same day."
Dude, it was fucking great. It was a great day. A ton of fun, dude. That was awesome. Yeah, very good. I even made an Instagram post about it.
Did you?
I don't post a lot.
Yeah. So that was good. Cool. So check that video out. And before we get started today, Kevin, you have something to show us?
Oh, I do. I would like to unveil my Caleb Williams jersey.
Are you gonna wrap that up? Are you gonna unwrap that? Try that bad boy on.
See how this bad boy.
See how it feels.
Not too early for this bad boy.
What are we thinking for you? A medium?
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 No, I gotta watch.
Planning on bulking up for the season, man.
They make them better size now, you know.
But you get. It's just like the T-shirt size, what's that called?
Yeah, it's not the vapor, but no, it's still a good one.
Oh, look at that,
fresh.
What are they gonna say now?
I feel like nice, Jason. I feel like I'm Peyton Manning with 18 on.
There is something about putting on, a sports jersey that I just really feel like when I was wearing it at the game, just go out and sling that ball.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's great. I'm very excited. Not too early for it. I showed someone before I came here today, and they're like, "Oh, is that a Roma Dunze jersey?" I was like, "No."
Someone's got to buy a Roma Dunze jersey. Poor guy. I mean, probably be doing way better than any other team in terms of jersey sales.
Maybe.
Before we get started, what we're going to talk about, and what we're going to talk about is a lot of NBA today because there's the draft just happened. Oh, what?
I wanted to bring something up to you really quick.
Well, really quick.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So I just want to say something about the jerseys.
Yeah.
And we didn't catch this on the podcast.
Yeah.
Remember, as we're taking the Red Line out of Sox Park.
Yeah.
We're talking to some random guys. It was like the kid who was going to go do baseball.
Yeah.
And then I forget how it came up, but this old guy who we were talking about the jersey, they're Niners fans, and he's made a comment or something along the lines of yeah, I don't wear other guys' names on my back.
Oh yeah,
remember that?
Right when we got on the train, actually, he said that.
Really considered making a shitty, smart-ass comment in response, but I decided to just take the L because he's kind of right.
He was a nice guy.
But how do you feel about that statement?
It's a good point.
We are a little old.
Yeah, I think let's put it this way: if we weren't doing BFT, Bears Fans Talk, also known as Big Fucking Titties, if you didn't know what BFT was, I would definitely, you like that? I definitely wouldn't have bought this jersey, I don't think. But
I wouldn't have bought it yet. No, I don't think I would.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But because we're do this and it's fun and I want to buy in, and we actually said if the Bears drafted him, we were going to buy the jersey. Yeah. So plus all the hype of him getting the number one jersey sales. And if nothing else, I'll give it to my son because Caleb's going to be a Hall of Famer.
There you go.
So this is going to be, a great jersey.
There you go, man.
So, but
and when he comes on the pod, you'll be able to autograph it.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I definitely respect that point. I feel like the old time jerseys, a Buckish jersey, those are still cool, right?
Yeah, I think to the point where they're icons in the city, and their name is more than just themselves.
Exactly, and you've seen my array of jerseys that I have. I have a ton of old, I have an LT jersey, LaDainian Tomlinson, that's pretty dope to wear. I have a Ricky Williams jersey, that's dope to wear, on the Dolphins.
That is true,
right? Those jerseys I think are still cool, but to buy a 21-year-old, 22-year-old kid, it's a little.
I think it would be cool to have a good collection of vintage old school jerseys.
Yeah. I feel like I got an Aaron Judge jersey too that I like to break out.
Well, so before we get into the topics today, what did you say you wanted to mention?
So what was the thing that you brought up to me? You brought up a few times. You brought it up actually when we were doing the Red Line doubleheader. What was the thing that you said to me?
About what?
About the podcast.
Oh, everyone says they can have a podcast. Everyone thinks they can have a podcast.
Everyone thinks they can have a podcast.
Yeah.
And so I've been stewing on this and thinking about it, and it's very funny because everyone's always got words to say, things to say. I
feel like we're not going to make a lot of friends talking about this, though.
But I'm just saying, though, what I do want to say, though, is that we're out here, we're having fun, we want to have a good time, and we are open to anyone. You guys want to come on? You've got some great ideas? Come on fucking down, baby. That's all I'm trying to say.
That's the thing is everyone does have, and I think everyone's kind of had the thought, I could have a podcast. I got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
And you probably could. You could probably do about as good a job as we are.
Probably better.
It is a little harder than it looks, I will say.
You do a great job editing too, John. And, like, I know it takes some work. And, like, you got to, cut out and make me not look like an idiot half the time and cut out all the shit I say. But
not nearly half the time, Kevin.
More often than that.
Okay.
But still, if you're that's basically my way of an open invite to any of our listeners.
Yeah. So there's not a lot of Bears news going on right now, but we're getting real close. We're like less than 5 weeks away from the Hall of Fame game, the first preseason game of the year.
Okay, yeah.
So we're getting real close.
Yeah.
But right now,
July's kind of dead, though.
Yeah, July is like the dead era of sports.
Yeah.
Like, all you got is meaningless mid-season baseball.
Dog days of summer is what they call
For
this
sure.
time period.
Thank God there's like other stuff going around. You can go out and have fun on your own because this is not a good time for sports.
I couldn't agree. My wife's she's watching the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader thing on Netflix.
Yeah.
I'm not watching it, but I passively have walked by the way they present it. Like, the same people that do Hard Knocks have to do this.
You think?
Dude, it's like the same cinematography sort of thing, like the same feel of it, like those big, large pictures. I'm like, is this a football show or is it not? But that's great because my wife's getting into it, and I'm like, there's cheerleaders when we watch football too. No, I'm kidding. Bears actually don't have cheerleaders, but
they don't. So we're kind of in a lull for football. We've both kind of been chatting back and forth about basketball. There's a couple of topics. The Bulls. I guess we'll want to start with the Bulls.
Or start with the Bulls. Yeah.
Okay. So the Bulls recently they draft. Oh God, I already forget this guy's name, but he's out of Hinsdale.
Oh yeah, he's coming home. Yeah. Why am I? I'm blanking too.
Yeah. So I mean, they just had I think it was the 11th pick overall in the draft.
Yep.
The Bulls also recently had some very bad publicity where they traded Alex Caruso. And
after he could have been traded previously.
Traded for probably, sources saying, a top 10 overall pick mid-season, but that was vetoed by upper management.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really like clear information as to who that is, even though it's probably Jerry Reinsdorf.
Yeah.
Saying, no, we want to push. We want to
playoff push.
We want to maintain this level of mediocrity so that we can get bounced by a Jimmy Butlerless Miami Heat in the play-in game.
So the problem is with the Bulls, before we move on, like, this same squad has been constructed for a number of years.
Yeah, they've been together for a while.
Like the DeRozan, Vucevic,
Vucevic,
Lavine. Like that core has been together for, I think, 3 years now.
At least 3 years.
And like, on paper, it seems like it should be a pretty good team, but like at the same time, like, they have had no success at all. Yeah. And like, they keep running it back, and like, this year you should just broke it down.
I mean, not no success. I mean, the Bulls have maintained this level of like somewhere between a 7 and a 10 seed for most of this span.
And you know what else they do, Johnny? They lead the league in attendance.
That's true too.
And like, they're filling the stands every week.
That is true.
Or every week, every night.
The Bulls kind of have the same problem that the Cubs had for a period of time, where it just felt like, I mean, maybe this is just my perception, it's just like, they're not going to get better. They don't need to. They're always going to make money. Yeah. And I think then you have a change in the ownership hand, and they have a little bit of different ideals. Yeah. But the bigger issue with the Bulls, and we want to talk about, is this right here, Zach Lavine.
Yeah.
Zach Lavine, who got like a max contract in 2022.
Yeah.
And now the Bulls, I think, have kind of realized, hey, this isn't it. And we need to do like the Ryan Poles rebuild.
Yeah.
And
break it down.
Docket number one is to get this man, who you still owe $90 million over the next 3 years,
so
get him off the roster.
Here's the thing about Zach Lavine. If you take Zach Lavine and you put him on the Mavericks or you put him on the Celtics, he is not a starting player on that team.
Yeah, that's true.
And like, I think Zach Lavine, even when they were giving him the max deal back, the criticism was, is he a max player?
No.
Or is he by default, because there's no one else on the team, is he a max player type of guy? Because there's no one else on the – and that's exactly what – Lavine is the beneficiary of being the best player on a bad team.
We've had this conversation about like quarterbacks, and I feel like it almost kind of the same situation with Zach Lavine. You've got to decide, like, is this the guy you're going to build around, or are you passing? And I feel like for most teams, if they're not sure, they pass. Like, Justin Fields, like, hey, we don't have time to.
Well, the Bears were in the luxury of having a number one overall pick, and were able to move on. A lot of times, teams don't have that ability to move on that easily. That's how Russ Wilson keeps getting a job.
With basketball, I think it is a little bit more luck. You got to find that key piece in the draft. Well, like you're saying, like that number, like when we had Derrick Rose back in the day. Like, I think you need something to spark the sparked the franchise.
Yeah.
But
Those are great years.
Looking at
Years.
and looking at the salary cap situation for the Bulls, we're pretty close to max for 24-25.
Patrick Williams is on there now.
Patrick Williams. This is a different site than the one I was looking at earlier.
Okay.
So Patrick Williams is making 15, Vooch is 20, Lonzo Ball 21,
Yeah,
probably even a bigger
yikes.
problem, and over double that is Zach Lavine making 43.
Is that your wife's cousin or something?
Andrew Funk, I wish. He's making pretty good money for.
It's not bad.
Yeah, not too bad.
Not bad.
584,000. So basically, a big chunk, like more than a quarter of the salary cap is going to Zach Lavine in 24-25. So they are trying to dish him, but reports are coming out that nobody wants him.
So did you hear about the trade that was proposed to Golden State?
No.
So the Bulls were going to trade Lavine for Chris Paul and Andrew Wiggins.
Oh, I did see something about that.
Or whatever, and then they declined it, and then the Golden State just waived Chris Paul anyways, and now he went to the. But what I'm just kind of like, there's a lot of heat now on like Golden State's like front office, like they're doing a poor job of like they ended up signing
transitioning to the next step of their.
Well, they ended up signing and trading Clay for nothing.
Yeah.
So like they got rid of Clay for nothing, and they got rid of CP3 for nothing, and they paid so much for CP3. What I'm saying though is that first of all, like. I'm not as in tune with the NBA as I am with the NFL,
right.
But I have a good pulse on it nevertheless. Like I just feel like there's a lot more shade being thrown like on the national scale on like when teams do something really really bad.
Yeah.
Like so much shade is getting thrown that way. And like another thing, like I don't want to move up the Bulls just yet, but like the whole Bronny thing, like so much shade gets thrown that way.
What do you mean compared to what?
Well, I feel like it's just not as like the Bears, for example, right? Like, or I guess the CMC trade I think would be the prime example. Like Carolina got absolutely fleeced, but you really don't hear about it that much.
It's true,
right?
Yeah.
It's not like completely rammed down your throat. Where like with this NBA stuff, they just ram it down your throat.
I think with the NBA, it's like the individual players, like each individual player has more pull than like any individual, or like more like aura and like story around them, because there's 50. We were talking about before. There's 56 men on an NFL roster.
Is there 56 or 50? Yeah,
I think it's 56. Yeah, and then but there's only like 12, I believe, on an NBA roster.
Yeah,
and like one given NBA superstar is worth a lot more than any one given. CMC.
Yeah. By the way, CMC got married last week, and if you didn't see,
I did not see.
You should look up the pictures. Great.
Nice little wedding.
Dude, Olivia DeCupo, she was very conservative, dressed, looked absolutely stunning. She's Miss Universe. CMC looking dapper as always.
I keep forgetting she's Miss Universe. Anyway.
Yeah, no.
So the Bulls, they need to get Zach Lavine off the contract. I don't think they're going to. I guess best case scenario. I mean, I think the Bulls, unfortunately, are probably going to be bad with the salary cap situation going on for another 2 years.
At least.
Unless they can get rid of Zach Lavine. They're probably not going to re-sign DeRozan, and Lonzo Ball probably we're going to have to pay him for another year. And it is sad because it's been a while since I've really been invested in the Bulls, and the Bulls were probably my favorite team, even surpassing the Bears during the Derrick Rose years.
I mean, I really loved the Bulls too during the Derrick Rose years. I was all in on them.
Okay.
Last time we see about the Bulls, though, it's nice about Chicago. Chicago is a destination city. It should be, at least.
Yeah.
So, like, you rebuild, get some pieces. You can attract some big name free agencies to come play for the Chicago Bulls.
The thing is, I don't buy the Chicago is a big. It just hasn't played out that way. You've never
recently
ever. I've never seen a big name player, decide to come to Chicago. I feel like it's almost like it's actively avoided, especially in basketball.
What about the season, the free agent season of what was that, 2006, when we didn't get Chris Bosh, we didn't get Dwayne Wade, we didn't get LeBron, but we did get.
Who did we get?
Carlos
Boozer. Yes, exactly. So this is not I think most
Carlos Boozer to a max deal.
I don't think that players actually take into mind going to a big market. Unless it's like LA.
Or New York.
I mean, but I also don't feel like I see players clamoring over New York. I never feel like you hear players, I can't believe they went there. I'm like, oh, I guess it's because it's a big market. What I will say is like they're not clamoring to go to Chicago. I do not feel like, maybe it's basketball, maybe it's the MJ thing, and people have I feel like people have tried to make that claim, like, well, no one wants to live in MJ's shadow. But I think it's across all sports. I really don't think people are clamoring to come to Chicago for one reason or another.
We'll find out, because if the Bears play out how it should be, we should be able to attract some talent. So We'll see.
All right. You really passionately, I don't feel as much passion about this as you do, but you really wanted to talk about Bronny.
Yeah.
And how he was drafted by the Lakers.
So, like, this is a lot of things have gone through my mind about, like, this thing, and I've gone through a progression of how I feel about how this occurred. So, like, initially, like, I was like, this is... I'll just high level.
You were hot about this.
I was very hot.
You were just like, I cannot believe you're all in our group chat about something that none of us really have any passion about.
But here's the thing, though, is that, like, and I'll tell you how I got to where I'm at right now. So, like, this was LeBron put on a clinic on how to get your mediocre son drafted in the NBA. And then, like, you know, he averaged what? 4. If you pull up the stats, pull up Michael Jordan's son's stats versus LeBron James's son's stats.
Does that exist?
Yeah, it does, dude. It's an image.
Bronny
versus Marcus Jordan. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I wonder who would get drafted in the NBA.
I mean, neither of these stats are very good.
But that's the point, John. The guy averaged 4 points, and I know he had the heart issue or whatever, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, he died, man.
But he didn't die. He's not DeMar Hamlin. But what I'm saying though is, like, very pedestrian numbers, maybe some G League numbers, like, at best, because he's LeBron James' son, whatever. Furthermore, his agent, also known as Adele's boyfriend, if you didn't know,
I did not know,
was calling teams and said, if you draft LeBron James, Bronny James, he's gonna go play in Australia. That's what he was doing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So
dude.
basically, don't like everyone like try to pull some funny shit.
Total BS.
Yeah.
That kind of, like, pissed me off too. And then, like, the whole thing, like, him playing with his son, blah blah blah. And then I started thinking about it some more. And I was like, what's the difference of, like, one day I get my son a job at whatever firm I work for, get him an internship?
Not a difference.
It's just more public. The fact that
100%,
it's NBA.
yeah.
And like because of that, it's much more in the limelight, and there's a draft, and it's in front of everyone, so it's a bigger deal. But ultimately, it happens every day and everywhere we go.
You don't expect to see it in sports, because sports, I do believe, is a true meritocracy.
Sure.
Where, like, you need to be able to produce.
Sure.
Otherwise, you're not going to be making any money. You're not going to get any play time. But here's
see. He could just sit on the bench all season.
That could be true, but no, I think they'll probably get him out there. Here's the thing. You know, I do think if you are the 20-something-year-old son, is he even 20 yet? 20-something-year-old son of LeBron James, you probably have more upside than even Michael Jordan's kid. I think you probably got, like, the pedigree. You're going to be eating and breathing that stuff. Yeah. At the end of the day, like, is this situation, is him being drafted by the Lakers a good situation for Bronny?
Yeah.
Is this a good situation for LeBron James? Is this okay?
Absolutely.
And is this a good situation for the Lakers?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And
so what's the problem? So what's the problem?
You're missing. Is it a good situation for the NBA?
Yes. Yeah, people will tune in to watch that. Yes. So exactly. So it's just like, I think when you want to talk about meritocracy, maybe he's not good enough right now.
But what about the kid who dreamed of getting drafted in the NBA?
He'll be fine. If he deserved to be drafted, he'll eventually end up somewhere.
Who knows? Maybe he's crushed. Maybe he's crushed and he's defeated, and someone's life has been altered forever because a guy who averaged 4.8 points just got drafted in the NBA in the second round by the Los Angeles Lakers.
Well, he should
to JJ Redick.
Okay, well, he's also, you know what? Sports is entertainment.
Yeah. And
he probably can't provide the same level of attainment as watching a 40-some-odd-year-old greatest basketball player of all time play with his son.
I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna comment on that?
I'm not gonna comment.
All right, well, we can talk about that.
How about greatest of our generation, greatest of this generation of basketball of all time? I will settle for that.
Sure.
Thank you. Settle. See, that was easy.
Okay, fine. And then you really wanted to talk about, I think this is probably where we should wrap it up.
Okay, yeah.
You really wanted to talk about Jason Tatum's. We just got done, as someone, I've not been watching the NBA, so, I mean, I'm familiar with the Bulls. I know who Jason Tatum is. I've obviously watched some of the finals, but I didn't really know much about him. Mm-hmm. But all I need to know to make me hate him forever is that video, where you guys can look it up, where it's just like Jason Tatum trying really hard to have an iconic finals moment, where he just, like, rips off a bunch of stuff that was already done, like, super not candid, like, little catchphrase, like, what are they gonna say now? And, like, we did it! Like,
the Kobe repost.
Yeah, and then the Kanye, like, I guess we'll never know. Exactly. Like, I hate him, but he just raked it in.
Yeah.
Like a $314 million contract.
Yeah, so that's only over 5 years. And so I guess the NBA is coming up on a new TV deal too. So they're saying his next contract will probably be worth $500 million. So $500 million.
His next contract after this 2030 season?
Yeah, he's in his early 20s.
I don't think that he's going to have a bigger contract than this one, his next one.
Did you see how much what's his name just got paid? Paul George. He's like 30-something. He's still raking.
How much is he making?
I gotta look it up.
I don't think it's gonna be $500 million.
But they're not on the next. CBA with the TV deal.
No, maybe, but yeah, I mean, it's a crazy amount of money. You're saying that like he's probably. I mean, even with the $314 million,
4 year, $212 million.
I would hope that making this type of money, he will at some point be a billionaire in his life. It's not as simple as that. I mean, obviously, it's going to be cash.
Paul George is 34.
It's not a lump sum.
Yeah. Paul George is 34, and he just got a $212 million contract. What I'm saying, though, is that these NBA money, like you see this money, and it's like, why play football and hurt yourself and just go play basketball?
I mean, you hurt yourself playing basketball, too. It's 82 games a year.
Dude, load management. They barely play it.
Well, that's kind of a more like a new generation type of situation.
Jason Tatum's 26, too.
So $315 million for Jason Tatum. To put in perspective, Tom Brady earned $317.6 million in his 23-year career. But then there's advertisements. Like, it's
TB12.
It's all so much money that it becomes irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like
inflation.
Are there professional athletes that are looking at other sports being like, man, I should have gone in baseball? Like,
let's put it this way. Like, if I'm like a 3-sport athlete that's phenomenal and I have to pick a career route and like everything maintains equal, right? I can make the pros. I'm picking basketball.
Well, Russell Wilson could have gone baseball, and baseball players get paid a crazy amount of money, and he decided not to.
I mean, he did win a Super Bowl. He was pretty good. But I'm just saying, though, like, baseball's harder, man, because you got to go through the farm system and stuff. Sure. Like, you can definitely get caught and like not make it to the show. That's true. That stuff. I do want to talk about 2 more things really quick. Simone Biles, she looks phenomenal. Absolutely, that routine. If you haven't seen the routine, like amazing. Yeah, like it was good. Like, she looks back, like rooting for the best, and our boy Jonathan Owens. Let's go. I'm very happy that we get to see this play out with her now being like a Chicago. That's why it's cool. A de facto Chicagoan. Do you think she lives in Chicago? I don't know. We're going to claim her for now. That's what I'm saying, though. But she's going to be coming to the game. She's kind of like our Taylor Swift. It's good for us. Yeah. She wins a ton of gold medals and kills it. And she comes back. They're going to show her at every game. If she decides to compete this year. She's going. Don't put that on our girl. You know what? We're going to go to Paris and we're going to murder her. I'm going to stand by the. I mean, we didn't have a podcast. It's not like these are statements that I made outright. But I was internally very critical. Me too. Of Simone Biles' decision to kind of sit it out. That being said, I kind of understand, like, when you're doing the kind of shit that she's doing, like flying through there. If you're feeling like something is off with your mentals, I get why you wouldn't want to just power through. Yeah. But. She'd already been there before. I just couldn't I can't put myself in her position, so I'm not going to be super critical. Well, I wish her the best of luck. I agree. July 26th, she's up. I will be rooting for her as well. I agree. The Olympics are that close, huh? Very close. In Paris. Okay. Last thing I want to bring up is our atrocious defeat. The Team USA defeat to Team Japan. So I did a little research, guys. So this, it says right there, this is U20. So it's 20 and under for those of you that don't know. So it's not like Tyreek Hill had an opportunity to play on this team. So there was some sort of, for those of you, I mean, there was some sort of like international football league that the United States is currently getting bodied in. Right? Yeah, so they also just recently lost to Austria 32-25 as well. So I was a little curious on like who's on the team, like what does it make up and all that stuff. So the biggest name on the team, so first, this is what they're touting, is a 4-star commit to Notre Dame is their best player, and an uncommitted 3-star athlete. So these are the best players on the team. Furthermore, they have Mikey Gao, which if you didn't know, he is an ambidextrous quarterback. Okay, so he is also in the class of 2026 for high school. Okay. So like 20U, that guy, what does that make him for 2026? That makes him what? 16? Yeah. So like put it in perspective here. This isn't because remember when they said this.
So we're watching international high school football.
There you go.
And like and most I think most big name college high school players in the United States are not bothering with this. At the same time, but here's the thing. We should still be. I didn't realize that they even owned footballs in Japan. Are they really fielding these teams?
I mean,
I feel like
I know.
This is all stereotyping, but I feel like they're just smaller people. It's just shocking.
You may have to edit that out.
It's just shocking to me. No, you don't think I don't think it's racist to think that Japanese people are typically smaller in height or at the very least girth than Americans, for better or for worse.
Let's name up some former college or USA football stars. Tavon Diggs, Jordan Poyer, Jonathan Taylor.
So have played in this league before. I didn't even know it existed.
First round selections: Rashad Bateman, wide receiver for Baltimore, first round pick.
Okay.
None other than Mac Jones.
Okay.
That one hurts. Kenny Pickett. And then Chase Young as well.
Okay, so real ballers have played.
So yeah, those are some real boys there.
Okay.
But looking up and down the squad, I see a lot of 16 and 17-year-olds, maybe some 18-year-olds. So I saw this and the headline was this might be worse than Pearl Harbor, but I don't think it's that bad. But I think it's gonna be okay.
You can say this is worse than Pearl Harbor, but I can't say that Americans are fucking fatter than Japanese.
It's right there.
Oh god. I guess I didn't realize that.
That's what caught my attention. It's kind of bad. All right, that's all I got.
All right.
Anything else, Shauna?
I think that's about it. All I got this week.
I'm gonna be gone in Greece for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So
it's gonna be a minute.
Yeah, our first commercial, our ad for Nico at Elevate Coffee.
Yeah. Plug.
It's his wedding actually.
Oh, nice.
So
the coffee was good. I'd go back.
Coffee was great.
Is he gonna be opening up a Park Ridge location anytime soon?
There is in the works.
Oh.
I think rent's a little higher in the PR neighborhood, as you can imagine.
Boys Town? I'm kind of surprised.
I don't know all the logistics, but I was kind of talking around numbers with them, and it sounds like it's not cheap because they want to be an uptown.
But he is actually looking into it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
All right,
dude. He's a businessman.
Nico's getting a little extra ad space from us today, then.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Elevate Coffee. He's got a second location, too. So he's got the one in Boys Town and one in Uptown, just a few blocks north of it as well.
All right. That's all I got. Another 20-minute episode that probably ended up being something like 40. But, it's good times. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to give us a like and subscribe if you're enjoying it. It really helps us out. And, we haven't gotten a comment in a while. I really, really like it when people get really angry about the things we have to say. And maybe that's not going to happen until football season is back and we start defending Caleb Williams' painted fingernails.
As we're both wearing Caleb jerseys.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man.
For a 21-year-old.
All right. Peace out.